Good afternoon. I'm sure you heard the news that we let Jimmy go today, and we're going to replace him with Frank Vogel. And I want to thank Jimmy for his 3.5 years of service. We feel he's done a lot for us, not only coaching the team, but helped changing the culture and moving us in the right direction. So he's going to be missed, but we move on, and I think our players understand that we're trying to do all we can to get back on the right track, and hopefully we can move forward and win some ball games and get us back into playoff contention.
Larry, did you consider jumping back in and coaching this team given the situation? That's what fans are talking about.
Well, sure, but no, I really didn't. To commit something like that after being out for a long time and not having a training camp, not been down on the court, it's been very tough. But I know Frank, he's been down there, he knows these players, he knows what he wants to do, and it's really tough because he hasn't had the training camp, and he's going to change some things, and we're not going to have that many practices. But no, I really didn't think about going down. I mean, I've been the easy way, but that's not what I wanted to do.
Sorry, about a week ago you said he's here for the long term. So what, if anything, changed in the last couple of days? And was this your decision?
Yeah, well, I was on the West Coast trip, and Mr. Simon was out there, and I told him at the time that I felt comfortable with Jimmy moving forward, but you never know. I wanted to see how we played on the trip. We were in 3 of the games, and then in the Denver game we really didn't have a chance. So we came home in Orlando. Really, the game was over after the first 3 minutes. So that's when I really started thinking about we probably need to do something. And I called Mr. Simon up, and he said, "Whatever you want to do." So here we are.
What will your role be? Will you maintain the same role, or will you have a little more oversight over Frank and what happens now?
Well, I usually let my coaches coach, but anytime Jimmy or Frank asks my opinion, I give it to him. He knows how he wants to play, and we've already talked a little bit about some of the things I like to see and some of the things he wants to do. I think we're on the same page. We know where we want to take his franchise, and we got young players, and we want to see some of them play. But I think Frank will do a great job of handling our young players, and hopefully we can see what they got. I like to see, Lance play a little bit sometime down the road, and I also like to see Paul maybe get a few more minutes at 2 different positions, 2 guard and at the 3. So we'll talk about all this. We haven't really spent that much time together, but he's going to coach. He's the coach, and he's going to do what he thinks is necessary to win basketball games.
Well, has it been frustrating, Larry, that you guys are so young and you're building for the future, and the young kids didn't get as much run as probably as you wanted earlier in the season?
Well, I like to see them play more. There's no question about that early on. But I'm not coaching the team. If I was coaching the team, would I play them? I don't know. But I was a little frustrated when Hansborough wasn't getting to play early. I thought that Paul was going to be behind a little bit, but now that he's playing pretty well, I think that he's showing that if you get some confidence and you get some time, you're going to get better. But we are young, but our goal here is, like I said a few years ago, we got a 3-year plan, and we're right on it. I mean, I looked the other day, and we're going to have more money than anybody in the summer to go out and either trade one of our expiring contracts or go in the free agency market and get the pieces we need.
So, Coach, so the likelihood is that you're going to wait until the off-season to make moves, or is there?
We'll make moves anytime. I've said it over and over. If we see the right deal out there for us as a franchise, we're going to do it. Now, it's a little touchy because we don't know what the collective bargaining is going to be, but Mr. Simon told me if you see a deal and you like the player, go ahead and make the move.
What will be your process moving forward as far as a coaching search? Is there one underway now, or will you wait and see what happens?
Well, usually when this stuff happens, people start calling. But, obviously Frank's going to be in there for the rest of the year, and we'll see how it goes. If he does a good job, he'll be our first interview.
And Larry, just wanted to clarify, you all had a meeting this morning, and that's when O'Brien found out the news, and also how did that go?
Well, I called Jimmy in today. I texted him last night and wanted to meet with him at noon today, and he came in and explained it, and it went very well. Jimmy's a man. He stands up, he talks to you, looks you in the eye, and he said, "Thanks for the opportunity. I know you're on the right going in the right direction, and if this is something you feel you have to do, I understand." So he was great.
And Larry, you guys started off. I'm sorry, I called you Jim. I apologize. So,
It's all right.
Larry, you guys started off, had a great start, and then, some of your young players got called out in the media by Jim. How frustrating was that having, your head coach, when you have such young kids, scrutinizing your young players?
I never did that when I coached. I didn't like it when I was a player, and the coaches get on my teammates. Obviously, if you look at some of our players, especially Roy, it looks like he's down. I mean, he's not running around having a good time like he was earlier. So obviously it affected him. But you also got to be a man in this profession that it's not all going to be positive, and he's going to snap out of it and start playing the way he's been playing. He's very important to this franchise, and we got to have him play at a high level. But I just didn't believe in that stuff when I coached. I didn't believe in it when I played. But Jimmy does things that Jimmy does, and that's how he expresses himself, and maybe he thinks he can motivate the player like that. But I think in this case with the guys that we have, I don't think it worked well.
Should this team make the playoffs?
Yes, it should, and I said that 3 years ago. I think in the third year this team should make the playoffs. We're 10 games under 500. I'm not saying we're going to win a championship, but this team should make the playoffs.
If you don't make the playoffs, how hard do you, you look in the mirror all the time, but if you don't make the playoffs, what does that tell you personally?
Well, that I didn't reach my goal. I knew it was going to be tough 3 years. I really felt that this year's a year that we're going to sneak in the playoffs. We're 10 games under 500. And obviously, all of our contracts are up this year. So Mr. Simon's got a lot of things to look at and judge our body of work. But the franchise will be in a good position after the season. I do know that.
Are you committed long-term then?
Well, I'm going to sit down with Mr. Simon and talk to him because he's never been in this situation before. All of our coaches, all of our trainers, scouts, me, we're all up. And they're going to be around $35 to $37 million. And that's the first time this franchise has been in that position with a new collective bargaining agreement. So I think, and we do have some good young players. So I think the franchise is sitting pretty well. But yes, I will be very disappointed if we don't make the playoffs.
Are there any concerns? Frank's head coaching experience lasted all of 3 minutes last night. That the players won't respond to a guy who has no head coaching experience?
They will respond. I've already talked to a couple of them, and they're going to do everything to help Frank out. Even though he's coached a lot, he's had a lot of experience. The players will react. We got good guys, and they know what's going on, but they'll react to it.
But will this impact your decision on whether you want to come back to the fact that Jimmy's no longer here?
Not really. I know in this league, people move on. I've seen teammates move on, seen coaches move on, but I don't know. I wish I had an answer. I really don't have an answer because when I talked to Mr. Simon, he has some concerns about some things, but I told him I wanted to wait till after the year's up and sit down and talk about it and see where he wants to go. But I know if I'm not here, whoever is, they're set in a good position to turn this thing around.
What's the message you're sending to fans who may be watching this live right now?
That we're committed. We're committed to the playoffs. That was our goal. That was my goal personally 3 years ago. And rebuild this thing as quickly as possible and not make any mistakes along the way. We can't afford any mistakes. We're a small market competing against teams that's spending, 20 to 30 million over the tax. So, but we're in a position where we think we can move this franchise forward, and we feel good about it. We don't feel good where we're at as a team, and that could be blamed on all of us. It's not just Jimmy. Just because we fire the head coach don't mean that, he's the reason we lost all these games. It's upper management. Maybe we didn't get the type of players that he needed. It's the players. It's on them. So hopefully we can turn this around in the last 30-some games and hopefully get a spot in the playoffs.
What would you like to see, besides wins, what would you like to see happen these last couple of months?
I'd really like to see some of our guys improve. I'd like to get Roy back playing at a high level. I'd like to see Lance get in there, and I also like to see Paul George get more minutes where he's going to improve. If we can be a better team at the end of the season than we are now, that's what I'm looking for.
Would you like to see a style change at all, or would you? I know you said you're going to let Frank close.
It's really hard to change a lot of style. I mean, sure, he's going to change some things, but we don't have any practice. It's hard to change a lot of things if you don't have a lot of practice time. But I'm sure he's got his own ideas. I mean, if I was taking over, I'd have my own ideas how to run the offense. But I've talked to Frank a little bit over the year, and we just talk basketball, so I know that he's going to change some things.
I feel bad asking because Frank's here, but last summer when Jim let Lester go, you lost a lot of experience out there. Is there any second thoughts of wishing you would have urged Jim to have a lead assistant that had more experience?
Not really. Everybody's got to start, and I have all the confidence in the world in this young man. He's a basketball coach, and he'll get the job done for us.
Why do you think in the end this team has underachieved this year? I mean, you've been healthy, so that's
healthy, yeah. That was one of the keys going into the year. I thought we stayed healthy. And not to really make a lot of excuses, but the inexperience going down the stretch. I mean, how many games have we been in where we've had good leads and all of a sudden the wheels fall off? A lot of it comes down to execution. Some of it comes down to taking bad shots. A lot of it's turnovers. But that's why I always say you need them two other guys that we're going to be able to get this summer. Then you won't have all these mistakes and all these leads that we blow down the stretch. So it's a little bit of everything.
Is there a higher priority on going out and making a Collison-type deal, given the fact that there doesn't seem to be a lot of great free agents out there?
Yeah, no question. That's why if we can use one of our expiring contracts to get the player we want, we can do that.
Does that need to be done before the trade deadline?
Well, you like for it to, but it's not the end of the world if it don't happen. But we're talking to a lot of teams. It's starting to heat up, and I know you're not hearing about it because Wells not doing his job, but there's a lot of things going on in the league.
Is there anything else?
Okay. Yeah. Frank Vogel, new coach.
Well, let me just start by saying that obviously this is a very difficult day for me. I wish I were up here under different circumstances. Anyone that knows me as a person recognizes what kind of person Coach O'Brien has been to me, what he's meant to my life. He's been a mentor to me in every sense of the word and a friend, and I wouldn't be here without him. So, it's just a difficult day. There's no other way to put it. With that being said, every time one door closes, another one opens. And I recognize this incredible opportunity in front of me. I'm honored that Larry Bird has such confidence in me and that Mr. Simon and David Morway support him in this decision. We've got a good basketball team. I'm taking over a good basketball team, and I've got a great deal of confidence that this thing is going to turn around right away. This is the same team that not so long ago beat Miami at Miami, beat the Lakers at L.A. We've proven that we can beat sub-500 teams regularly. We've had a tough stretch. There's no doubt about that. But we're ready to turn this around. We're ready to go on a run. And I've got a great deal of confidence that's going to happen. I'm not going to do it by myself. I've got a great coaching staff in place. Dan Burke, who's been here forever, is one of the best basketball minds I've ever been around. Jay DeFrucio has over 20 years of head coaching experience, can coach this game in his sleep. We've got two young, eager assistants, Walter McCarty and Vitaly Potapenko, who know what it's like to be NBA players and are improving every day, becoming great teachers and great coaches. So this is going to be a team effort. It's not just about me. But even beyond that, this change is going to be about our players owning up to their standards and owning this team a little bit and taking it amongst themselves, not looking at the coach anymore to turn this thing around. It's going to be on them, and we'll go as far as they're willing to take us. So with that being said, I'll open it up to questions.
There's some changes off the top of this team right off the bat.
Yes, absolutely.
And they are.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Stay tuned.
Hey, Frank, did you talk to Jim today? And if so, what was the exchange between?
He's extremely happy for me. Obviously, I expressed my disappointment, that we didn't get this done for him and that his tenure here ended this way. But he just told me to stop. He just said, this is such a great opportunity for me. He wants this for me. I think he set up the coaching staff for this to happen someday, maybe not this year, but I think he's wanted this for me all along, so he's very happy for me.
Are you just as confident that this team can make the playoffs as Larry was moments ago?
Absolutely. I fully expect us to make the playoffs this year.
Will you have to tweak your relationships with the guys making that transition, or is it something you can easily just slide into that top spot?
I think it's going to be seamless. I've got a great relationship with these guys. They all know I believe in them, 1 through 15. I don't think it's going to be much of an adjustment at all.
Do you feel like you're in a tough position? Larry just says he wants to see some of the young guys playing. Obviously, you want to win, and you got some veterans that can still contribute. Do you feel like you're kind of stuck in the middle, or do you think you can do both and you guys still have success on the court?
You could do both. I think a lot of times the young guys are the guys that are going to help you win the most. And, I can't play all 15 guys. It's one of the challenges of being a head coach. People ask me all the time, what's the most difficult thing about being an assistant coach or a head coach in the NBA? And that's looking a guy in the face that deserves to be playing, that is not going to get playing time. And we've got a number of those guys. The guys that haven't played on our team this year much can play. 1 through 15, we've got good basketball players, and that'll be difficult for me to tell the guys that are not going to play, but that's just part of this business.
What sorts of experiences will you draw upon as you embark on this? And who you mentioned Jim O'Brien as a mentor. Who are some of the other people throughout your coaching life that you would draw upon?
Well, I'd start with Rick Pitino. I cut my teeth under Rick Pitino at the University of Kentucky, and he's the one that inspired me to pursue coaching at this level. I was a D3 basketball player at Juniata College in Pennsylvania, and what he was doing at the University of Kentucky just moved me, and it drove me to want to be that type of coach. So he's definitely at the top of that list, and I thank him for that as well.
What have you picked up this season as being the lead assistant? How do you think that will help you out? And like I said, it's only 3 minutes of head coaching experience, but that'll help you out going forward.
Well, in terms of experience, let's just start by saying that this is my 14th year, I believe. It's my 14th year in the NBA, and I was a video coordinator. I've been an advanced scout. I've been an assistant coach, a lead assistant. I've prepared for over 1,300, maybe 1,400 games, NBA games. So, the preparation level, there is no lack of experience. I've been an assistant coach on the bench for 8 years. So there's no lack of experience in terms of helping the head coach manage a game. Moving over to that seat, is there a little bit of a difference? So they tell me. We'll find that out. I'm sure it will be different, but I'm not concerned about my experience.
Frank, what can you and the coaching staff do with Roy Hibbert to kind of get him back to where he was his first 20 games?
We can do a number of things. We just we got to get him the ball. We got to put him in position where he's not going to only be a low post scorer. We've got to get him some easy looks. We've got to get his jump shot clicking again and take advantage of his versatility. We've got to continue to work with his defense and get him back to being the anchor of our defense like he was the first few games of this season. So there's a number of things we're going to do with Roy. And, Roy is one of the guys I have a terrific relationship with. He knows how much I believe in him, and I expect his game to take off.
How tough will it be for the changes that you do plan to make to get them done basically on the fly, especially looking forward with every other day?
Very difficult.
Schedule you guys.
I don't know when it's going to happen. It may not happen right away. Certain things, can happen right away in terms of substitution patterns and whatnot. But in terms of, adjustments in schemes and, just some offensive philosophies of how we're going to play, it'll be difficult to change that, but we'll do it over time. be a work in progress.
Larry touched on this, but will fans see certain guys playing now who haven't played much? And
Yeah, I'm not really going to get into which guys are going to start playing and which guys are going to stop playing. Just stay tuned. I don't want to give our opponents a heads up what's coming. And again, this is all very sudden, so I'm still working that out in my mind.
What do you feel you need to do to be able to come back next year and possibly be the head coach?
Well, I think we've got to have a good showing. We've got to make the playoffs, and we've got to be competitive in the playoffs, and I think that can happen. I believe this is a good basketball team, guys. You know, I think our fans should believe that. I think our fans should be excited, and this is going to be an exciting part of the second half of the year.
Anything else? All right. Frank has graciously agreed to be available for one-on-one, so thank you.
Thank you, guys.